Everyone was extremely excited about the First Sliver and Cloudshredder Sliver, and rightfully so. They're both incredible cards that do a lot for what they are. Meanwhile, I was most hyped for the 10-cent Uncommon Sliver, a card I claimed was being slept on. And after experimenting with the card a bit, my convictions only grow stronger. Now let's review the card again. Dregscape Sliver is a 2/2 for 1 and a black that gives all slivers in your graveyard unearth. This means for just 2 mana, you can temporarily bring back any sliver in your graveyard, give them haste, and swing out before you have to exile it at the end of turn. Additionally, this card itself has unearth, something I feel a lot of people have overlooked and something I'm hoping my opponents will continue to overlook as well. The best part is, any sliver in the graveyard is there because your opponent didn't want you to have it, but you're gonna go ahead and bring it back for a turn anyways. You can grab an extra lord for a turn, or maybe grab a flyer to swing over their head for lethal. Dregscape gives the deck a bit more reach in the later turns, which is always welcome since your hand will probably be empty pretty quick. This gets even more spicy when you consider the activated abilities that slivers have. Almost all abilities of Modern Slivers require you to sacrifice a sliver, and unearthing that sliver means you get to use it again. Darkheart Sliver is a perfect sideboard example of how to take advantage of unearth. Darkheart gives all slivers the ability, sacrifice this creature, you gain 3 life. If you're against burn, chances are they already attempted to bolt your Darkheart and you sacrificed it in response to gain some life. Next turn, you're now bringing it back, swinging with it, and gaining 3 life regardless of whether or not it was blocked, since you're going to sacrifice it at the end of turn anyways. Now, combining Dregscape with something like Necrotic Sliver can be a godsend in matchups like Tron. Being able to keep your opponent off of Tron while simultaneously building a board state just feels good. Granted, paying 2 mana for Unearth and then 3 mana for Necrotic's ability is a bit pricey, but if you played Wet Ball early on, chances are you'll be at a place where this is very doable. Now, I'm a bit less excited about this combo, but it does give us a chance at keeping whatever we unearth. The downside to unearth is, at the end of turn, you have to exile whatever card you brought back out of the graveyard. Unearthing a card, then using the ability of Frenetic Sliver gives us a 50% chance of keeping that sliver indefinitely. Frenetic Sliver allows us to flip a coin, and if we win the flip, exile the sliver and bring it back at the end of turn. That means it was exiled, just like the Unearth ability demanded, and now it re-enters from exile as a new permanent on our board. The reason I'm less excited about this ability is I'm not huge on coin flips, but Frenetic was already decent protection against board wipes, so why not try if you already sideboarded them in? I just wouldn't run it main board. Now, I have been looking for another good 1-drop sliver for ages. Striking Sliver was okay, and Sidewinder seemed fun, but neither seemed to do much once I had enough flying on the board. When Changeling Outcast was announced, I thought it might be a great include for Modern Slivers, but the fact that it did nothing for the rest of our slivers just didn't quite get there for me. And then I stumbled on a long-forgotten 1-drop sliver known as Mind Lash. Before Modern Horizons, I can confidently say that Mind Lash Sliver had no place in Modern Slivers, let alone most sliver decks. However, having Unearth on our slivers, paired with the fact that we can empty our hand incredibly quickly with more 1-drops, means I've flipped a 180 on this card. There are just so many situations where this card could be useful. Between our Aether Vials and the 8 other 1-drops, we're most likely without a hand by the time we're popping this ability. If you do have a hand and you have Dregscape in it, who cares? If your opponent goes to bolt a sliver you control, you won't mind discarding the Dregscape since you'll have it back next turn if you want. Plus, your opponent now has to discard a potentially valuable card just to cast a Lightning Bolt. And if you're running any one of bombs like Bone Scythe or Hive Lord, discarding one of those doesn't seem half bad if your Dregscape is already on the board. To sum this all up, I think Mind Lash Sliver is a potentially deck-changing 1-drop for Modern Slivers now that Unearth is available to the tribe, and I can't wait to try it out. For those wondering, I am planning on making an update to my previous deck list video, but it won't be until I get plenty of playtime with all of these potential changes. Since Modern Horizons dropped, I've tried cutting the vials, cutting the cocos, sedge sliver, and now I have even more things to try out. If you saw my last video, you know sedge was the only place where I considered the deck to have inconsistencies, but I think I've landed on a deck list that allows me to not only play sedge, but include all of the nonsense that I've covered in this video as well. That upcoming Modern Slivers deck tech video will come. If that interests you even in the slightest, please consider clicking that subscribe button. I cover everything from slivers to Pokemon, and if that's up your alley, I can promise there is way more to come. Plus, it would really mean a lot to me. Thank you for watching, and I still have no idea how to end a